Okay, so anyways, tonight with technical difficulties, but we do have Karen Wilson joining us. Karen of Green Band Properties. She's a longtime real estate investor, and she's involved in many partnerships. So, Karen, unfortunately, we can't see you, but yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I already sent you an invite, so I'm not sure what's going
You
on
want
with.
to try again? Let me leave and try again. Oh,
Oh, there you
there I am.
are. Okay, awesome.
It's just meant to be as confusing as possible.
Tonight was the craziest night. And we usually typically just join and there's no issues. And tonight it just wouldn't connect. But anyways, here we are. Karen Wilson, Green Band Properties, and here she is. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Karen, and your history, your
Absolutely. Well, so I got into real estate investing a long time ago. So probably, I don't even want to count how many years ago that was. But let's call it like more than 20 years ago. And I've
okay.
done it a little bit off and on over the years. I have certainly had some both good experiences and bad experiences. And then, of course, I really stepped it up about 2 years ago. I got involved with Wealth Genius and really went from kind of a little bit of real estate investing to like real estate investing consumes all the time I'm not at my 9 to 5 job. But I do love it and enjoy it, so it's not a terrible thing. I'm having a lot of
No,
fun doing it.
yeah, absolutely. So, lots of partnerships over the last several years. Tell us a little bit, yeah, about that.
For sure. Well, my very first multifamily real estate deal. Okay, maybe that's not quite true, but like the first one that I organized myself was entirely done through partnerships. At the time, I was self-employed, so I had a contract job. So that was just after all the mortgage rules had changed at that time. So I wasn't going to be able to buy the rental property I wanted to buy by myself. So I needed to find some partners in order to make that happen. And so talked to lots of people, eventually found a bunch of people that would be interested in doing some real estate investing and got them through that whole process. And funnily enough, about a month before, like we'd agreed on like how the partnership was going to work. I taught everybody because most of those people did not know anything about real estate. I did not know a lot, but more than them. And just before we were about to close, I could have bought it by myself. And but I'm like, I've spent so much time building up this partnership. I'm going ahead anyway. And as it's turned out, so I still own that property. It's 10, 11 years later. And it's proved to be wonderful. Like, I love having partners. It had side benefits I never imagined at the beginning. So I started off with, I'm going to have partners because I need to pool money in order to make this happen. And in the end, it's arrived at a place of, yes, we pooled money, we bought a place, but also I have people like when big situations come up, that there's sometimes multiple heads to think about a problem or different skill sets to draw upon. So I don't always have to pay for every skill set that I require as the property manager of that property, because sometimes I can just get on the phone and say, hey, this has come up. Is this something you want to do, or am I just hiring someone? So it's just had so many unexpected bonuses to it that I've been very happy and would happily repeat that over and over and over again. We did
Nice.
put we did put together an agreement, so we actually had a legal agreement. I put it back then. I now know that's called a joint venture agreement, but back then I didn't. But yes, so we put together a joint venture agreement that covered like every scenario we could think of. And so far, we've never had anything come up that wasn't part of our original kind of planning, except for making money. So we planned all of this originally because we thought we were not going to make any cash flow. It would just break even, and then we would sell it at 5 years, and that would be how we get our money out. As it turned out, it made cash flow like crazy, so we had to do some last minute ads for how to distribute money along the way. But other than that, pretty much been smooth sailing. So it's been
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice. And that was before any education, anything like that. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
This was before I got into like now I look back on how little I knew then and I think, wow, look at all the things I've learned since then. It's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, and what gave you the foresight to put all those clauses into an agreement when really, how could you even know what could go wrong if your, first investment, first partnership?
Well, so some of it was so before that I've been involved in a fraudulent kind of pyramid scheme real estate thing. So I'd seen a few things go wrong there. And I guess it's just mostly actually being exposed to contracts in other areas. So although I have no real estate partnership experience, my family has a lot of business experience. So I've had lots of time over the years to listen to my family talk about various business contracts and challenges they've had along the way. So I was able to kind of draw upon their experience um, in other contexts and use that inside of the real estate context to be like, what are things that could go wrong when you partner with a bunch of people in some sort of business? So it was super helpful.
Yeah, great. And now that you know, I can't even imagine what your contracts look like now that you've learned things along the
Well,
way.
I mean, actually, they're not actually that different. Although I actually say they're simpler because there's some things we realize that like you can make that part of the contract less complicated. But yeah, no, they certainly it hasn't changed radically. Like the base concepts of what are in even my JVs today are more or less along the same lines, which is really, how do you get someone out if someone really needs to get out, what are the ways to get out? What do you do if someone dies? What's going to happen if there's some kind of significant issue cash wise? So yeah, like the problems are the problems are the same. It's
No
just something
matter
that no
what
matter what it
contract,
is,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's funny because we were just talking about that, the contract that I'm working on right now, and those are exactly the things that we're talking about, right? That are in it. Yeah.
Exactly. How do you get in? How do you get out? What are the parameters? And then
Yep.
kind of what is your end goal? Like, so at what point
Right.
do you know that we're going to like rediscuss? So like in my contract on that first one, because we were going to sell it that 5 years, we have a 5 year checkpoint every year. So every time we come up towards that mortgage renewal, we have a meeting and say, are we selling? And
Yeah.
so far what's come up every time is, why would we sell this? We're making lots of money.
Right. Absolutely. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is that's what we were talking about is what if somebody dies? What happens to their shares, right?
Exactly. What's going to happen with that? What provisions are in there? So, like, I mean,
Hmm.
for me personally, one of the things that I'm looking for in JVs is can I pass my portion directly down to my son?
Hmm.
um, without any rigmarole because that's my kind of why in my portfolio is that I want to build this portfolio and I want it to support me, but in time I want it to become my son's portfolio who has a background. He's also interested in real estate, so it's a logical place for it to go. So I try to build that clause into JVs that I'm involved in. um, my dad is a partner in some of my other things, so his whole clause is that if something happens to him, which is unfortunately he's getting to be fairly elderly, so much more probable, his in most of those his portion passes directly to me.
Okay,
So yeah,
nice.
just
Yeah.
really thinking about what your goals are, and then what makes sense within that JV context. So because like usually it's more often like somebody wants it to pass to their wife or like so it's not like there's 1,000 options there.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so usually pretty straightforward, but it's
Yeah.
definitely something you want to think about before you have that problem, so that it
Exactly.
so that
Exactly.
it's
Like, what
in
if
there.
you get hit by a car? What if you had an aneurysm? What if, like things can happen and it doesn't have to involve sickness, right? It can be very sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, and just as long as you've got clauses in there for like what's supposed to happen, and the partners need an up to date will to go along with it. But yeah, then it's just Follow the instructions.
Right? Yeah, yeah. So you do a separate will for the
It would
agreement?
it would depend on the contract. So there's some. Well, I think it depends also on what your role is in the contract. So ones where I have a more active role, I may have a separate rider in my will, so it gets dealt with separately than the rest of my estate.
Okay. Okay.
So that's just so that you're, if particularly if you're playing on the more active side of things, so that it doesn't kind of grind the business to a halt while they're going through your probate and all that stuff here in Ontario.
Okay.
I personally would like to organize it so that if I could I move to Alberta just before I die, because the rules there are just a lot easier than Ontario.
Okay.
Hard to
I
arrange, but convenient.
But does it matter where your assets are or just
I don't think
probate
so. No, it
rules?
doesn't matter where your assets are, as long as you I believe it's you have to reside in that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
of course, I grew up in Alberta. That's why I know all of this. Like this, this is why
Okay.
I know this. Is it's not that I've been researching this or anything, but
Okay.
I grew up in Alberta, so there was all this strange stuff when I moved to Ontario that I had to learn about. Like probate laws are a lot more complicated here.
Okay. Very good. So so tell me about, I don't even have a selfie stick down here to hold my phone. Shoot. Um yeah, tell me about what you're working on. What do
Wow.
you got going on? You got any new partnerships that you're working on?
So absolutely. I have two right now that I'm working on. I'm working on a project. So in my hometown of Calgary, so I've kind of been on a mission to buy something in Calgary for a couple of years now, and I finally found something I'm interested in buying. So now I'm looking for some partners to make that happen. That one
Okay.
is an eightplex new build in Calgary, so brand new building. So that one is more of a long-term hold style investment, and so that basically money down. What I love about this deal is this is a deal where we're buying it from the builder at complete. Not We're not funding the build, and they are guaranteeing us a particular loan to value from CMHC. So for anybody that hasn't really played around a lot with that, what that means is we're really protected in the case of changes in interest rates and changes in rents. And right now, rental values in Alberta are trending down a bit. So it basically means that if the rents trend down, that the builder is prepared to lower the price we're paying for the building to match whatever rents are actually in that building at the time it changes hands. So it's actually a change of hands when the building's fully leased up at the end of build. So a
Wow.
lot less risky than a lot of other new build projects. So I'm going to contrast it against, say, pre-construction condos in Toronto, where you bought a condo, you had no idea what its value would be when it was finished, and hey, now it's finished and you are in the hole and no one wants to buy your condo and you are stuck with it and you can't even rent it out. So
Yeah.
kind of the quintessential opposite of all of that stress in the world. So that's I love the
That's
location.
amazing. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
love the
How did you find a builder that would do that?
Well, so as it turns out, this is how a lot of builds used to work in Alberta, like say 5 years ago. So kind of when it started to boom really big, they were able to kind of move it, like kind of leave all that risk on investors. Investors were still prepared to go there. So this is more of the old way they used to do it. So this builder was comfortable to go that route. Um, and it's actually the same way I bought several places here in Ontario as well, where we're working with a builder. But our deal is it was negotiated that we'll only buy it once it's finished and leased up. So some of that's just like the builder was open to that, and even in Ontario, it's just a relationship and discussion on, because it does guarantee them that they have a buyer. So that's the bonus for them. And that they get a buyer that's committed. I do have to put a fairly significant down payment down that they don't get to hold, like they don't get to touch that down payment. It's in trust, but the money is there, so they know it's there and it's going to close.
They know you're serious. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not going to
Yeah.
suddenly like try to back out at the last minute. My money's
Right.
already involved and there to go. So, if anybody is interested in a Calgary new build, or if they need to know more about like why is Calgary awesome, happy to talk to anybody about that because I do love that property. It's close to the university, so you can walk from there to the university. You can walk from there to the hospital. So to me, those are things that make what I that location will always have a great pool of people to rent near
Yeah.
it. No
Yeah.
matter what else happens, like that is just a really great spot in Calgary to have a place. And it's a nice area as well. So it's like super easy to get to the mountains from there. It's super easy to get downtown there from there. So it's a very lovely location. As compared to say there's some other things for sale in Calgary that I wouldn't be interested in owning because their location is the opposite of those things. But so that one's really been and it really it's been an interesting process. I've certainly learned a lot as I've been working on this. So I've been pretty much looking at properties in Calgary for a long time. So I've underwritten many new builds in Calgary and many existing buildings in Calgary, but often the at the end the value, like the amount you're paying, is about the same. And if I'm going to pay the same amount, well, I'd rather than the new build because then it's new and it has way fewer problems. So I love that aspect about it too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just closed on a 2-year-old building, which same thing. Like there's no capital expenditures for, you know, the foreseeable future, right? I mean, you do have to have a reserve fund, but nothing, yeah, like a 50, 60, 70-year-old building, right?
Yeah, there's very a lot fewer large things that are suddenly going to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it gives you a good chance to kind of get started and get going and establish without having to worry about that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that is definitely a glory of new builds. And who doesn't want to live in a new build? I'd prefer to live in a new build. So
Right.
it's
And
attractive
yeah.
from perspective too.
Exactly. Easy to rent. Insurance companies like them. Yeah, just good all the way around, right?
Absolutely. So love that one. And then,
Yeah.
so the other project that I'm working on is like the complete opposite. It's a value add building in Prescott, Ontario. That, well, the building was built in, I think it was around 1900, between 1900 and 1920.
Oh,
So it's an old building, but it's been updated. So it's been updated over the years. It's a fourplex that's currently composed of two two-bedroom units and two three-bedroom units. The two two-bedroom units are renovated, beautiful, stunning, like lovely, brand new. The two other units, the three bedrooms, are anything but renovated, need work, and are ready to be updated. So
okay.
what the plan here is to, and we're just on the edge of close. So any minute now, I'm hoping to get the phone call that says, "Hey, we're closed." But so that one, we're going to actually take the two three bedrooms, turn the three bedrooms into two one bedrooms on each side, giving us a total of six. So
Nice.
big value add there. So that's one where you get your money, a lot of your money back, not quite most, somewhere between 60 and 80% of your money back right away. The variation there is just on, it's hard to predict exactly what the interest rate and all that stuff is going to be 18 months from now, but so somewhere in that neighborhood. So get a big chunk of change back right away, and of course hold on to it, and it continues to make money over time. And it's a building that's in good shape. It's been there a long time. It hasn't had problems. I know the seller really well, so I have great confidence that there's nothing that I don't know about on it. So it's going to be a project that's going to go really well. It's going to be nice.
Awesome. 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 And so people can get involved in that one as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're looking for partners on that one, and it's going to be an interesting adventure. Lots to learn because, say, the renos going on there. We're working with the township of Prescott to do that. We've already kind of had a preliminary conversation with them to make sure that they're like on board with the plan in general. So we'll get to work through all the details of that and put that together. So should be a good adventure, and I love that we're kind of taking a property, we're adding to it, so something a little more I guess exotic than a new build in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that there's more decisions to be made and some stuff to do in it. So that should be fun and exciting. I love learning new things. So that aspect of it I find particularly appealing, and so I'm always happy to share what I learn with other people. And but yeah, that's what excites me about it. It's just that it's got a huge opportunity to learn a lot of different things that I haven't done as much of. Like I've done renos before. I did a reno on the triplex I was talking about earlier, but this will be the first time I've actually renoed it and actually put in an extra unit. So I'm like, ooh, I like this value add thing. I like the
Exciting. Yeah.
financial impact of that value add thing. It's really good. So
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So two exciting opportunities. If anybody wants to learn more about either one of those, they can reach out to Karen. Um,
absolutely.
and what's the best place to? Sorry, my arm's getting out. I wasn't planning on holding my phone this whole time. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
The easiest way to get a hold of me, you can either reach out to me through Facebook Messenger or Facebook, if that's the easiest way to find me, given that's where you saw me here, Karen Wilson. Or if you want to actually pop me an email, it's a little harder, but it's Greenbard, Green, B as in Bob, AR, D as in dog, at gmail.com. That's my personal email. I would normally give you my business email, but like that's even longer and harder to remember. So
Maybe you can pop it in the chat
oh, hey,
after
that's a great
yeah,
idea. I can
yeah,
probably do that.
after we end. Yeah. Um yeah.
All these
So
challenges when we're suddenly not in the technology we expected to be in.
we are totally not in the technology we expected to be in. I don't know why. Every week it goes fine. And for today, it decided it did not want to join through Zoom. So here we are.
Okay. The
Yeah.
universe wanted us to be on our toes for today.
That's right. That's right. And as real estate investors, that's what we do. We pivot, right?
That is true. I have learned to do a lot of that, especially so in the 2 years, like the last 2 years where I've really kind of stepped up my real estate investing since I joined Wealth Genius and really been going at it. I think that's one of the things I've realized is super critical is that ability to pivot and change directions and just take in what's happening. Don't freak out about it and like think about, okay, so what options can I go with now?
Yeah. How are we going to fix
Because
this? How are we going to, yeah. How are we going
exactly.
to, yeah. How are we going to make this work? Right.
Exactly. Well, and to go circle back around to partners, that's one of the glories of partners is it's not just one of you thinking about what it
It's kind of
is.
like little mini masterminds, right? Like you get a whole bunch of, yeah, 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 a
Exactly.
whole bunch of brains working together to, yeah, how can we do this?
And that is what I have just loved about being in partnerships. Like, yes, it's great. Like, so I'm obviously in my triplex that I put together long ago. I'm the active partner. I do 100% of the work on that one. But I'm also a passive partner in some other things. And like, sometimes it's really nice that somebody else is doing the work. But there's still, even in those ones, moments where people are like, oh, this is going on. And, sometimes I feel that part of I'm also there as like moral support and ideas when things that are very surprising happen. So it's kind of, been a blessing in many different ways. I know a lot of people are nervous about partnerships. I've talked to a lot of people that are uncomfortable with the idea of partnering and they want to do it all by themselves. But I would also say like your opportunities if you're doing it all by yourself are so much more limited. Um, in the last 2 years, I've been involved in 9 projects. There is no way I could have done 9 projects on my own. Like just the time factor of that many things, it's just not possible. So because I'm open to partnering, I'm able to be kind of in multiple places at one time. So there's the ones I'm active on that I'm busy and I'm super focused on, but there's also things that I'm partnering in where I'm involved in it. I'm not the front line, but I still also get to learn from all those activities. So it's been an opportunity to really expand my portfolio significantly and expand my knowledge significantly in just so many different ways. So if you're out
Amazing.
there thinking about it, I
Yeah.
would strongly encourage you, don't do it all by yourself. Find people to work with. It is rewarding and you can just do so much more.
Great advice. Great advice. And that's, yeah, that's exactly what I'm into now, right? Is collaborations, because you can only go so far by yourself. Um, and then you have to bring other people into your projects, whatever you're doing, right? You can do
Exactly.
bigger things with working with other people.
Oh, absolutely. Bigger things, different kinds of things, more things, so many opportunities.
Property management companies.
That's a you thing. That's a you thing. I don't need any more just yet.
Yeah. Well, all right, we're going to talk about an opportunity for you. We're going to be expanding into different centers and offering like a franchise, essentially. So, anyways, yeah, we're gonna talk about that at our upcoming conference at the end of the month. So. Yeah,
Nice.
anybody who's interested in that. Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. I think that's going to
That's kind of
be
cool. Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea. Definitely ready to hear more about that.
yeah. It just kind of came along organically, and we're like, wow, why can't we offer this to more people? It's a really cool concept. Anyways, we'll talk more about that at the conference, and
Perfect.
anybody who wants, a little sneak peek on. We are still working out details, but sneak peek on how that's gonna look. They can send me a
Well, in
message
great
about
news,
that
I'm
too.
coming to expand, so I will get to see you there.
Yeah. Actually, there's, you probably can't see it from my phone, but there's some little things for expand that are in my background in my
Ah,
office
cool.
that I've been collecting for. We're gonna have a booth there, so yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
nice,
I cannot see them, but that's okay. I will
okay.
be pleasantly surprised in the real moment.
Yeah. You're gonna want to come and visit our booth. Let's say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I was going to come visit your booth anyway just to say
Okay.
hello because,
Okay.
there's a partnership opportunity somewhere in our future, I can tell.
I feel it. I feel it. Absolutely. If not this, something else, I think. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks, Karen. Great to see you again. I just was on a mastermind retreat with Karen over in Portugal. It was amazing. Got to know you over there. It was a lot of fun. Mastermind retreats are absolutely amazing, and you really get to be almost like family, right? By the time you leave, it's
Oh,
yeah,
it was awesome, and I'm working through my to-do list
yeah,
of my many action items from there.
yeah.
Although technically, look, I'm checking an action item off right now from Expand in the spring because one of my Expand spring goals was like I was going to be on a podcast, and look, here I am.
And look at that. There you are. There you are. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. That's amazing. And that's part of like earlier today I had my accountability call with my accountability partner from Portugal, and that's like it's so important, right? To encourage each other and keep each other accountable for what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely, and I love that aspect of it. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine on the weekend where what I observed to her is that so I got into real estate, but actually and got into like wealth genius and all these things. But what I've really noticed more than even the real estate changes in my life are the changes in mindset and the changes in just how fearless I am and what I'm prepared to try. And like, so it's really more the personal growth side of things that I've found to be more remarkable and stuff I never would have thought could possibly happen as a result of deciding that I was going to get back into real estate investing.
Right, it's who you become along the way. It's not it's not the destination, it's who you become along the way. And I think surrounding ourselves with these like-minded individuals, that's my favorite part. Like, I just want to be around real estate investors all the time because they have that growth mindset. And yeah, I just want to be around it 24/7. You know, it just excites me. It fills my cup.
Me too. It's like I have found my people.
Exactly, exactly. I love it. I love each and every one of them. I've never met one that I didn't like. Right? We all
No,
have
it's
that
so
growth mindset that thinking about possibilities, opportunities, collaborations. Like it's just nobody's in competition. That's what I love about these groups, right? Nobody's in competition with each other. It's all about collaborating.
well, and we win bigger together.
Absolutely, 100%.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I look at so many things and I think, wow, you can't do that. Or it's maybe not that you can't do that by yourself, but like it is a lot harder if you're doing it on your own. And it takes a lot longer. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
admit I
And
like the fast track.
it's just so much more fun to do it with like your friends, essentially, right?
It
And
is. That's so true.
yeah. And you get excited with, and when something goes sideways, you have other people to bounce ideas off of. Okay, so how are we going to best handle this? And because things go sideways, they right in real estate investing,
They
they
do.
always will. So isn't it great that you can have people next to you with the same kind of mindset? Like, how do we do, how do we take care of this? Which way should we go? Let's analyze
How do
the
we make this
issue. And
into an opportunity?
exactly, exactly,
So true.
absolutely.
So true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. Well, great again talking to you, Karen. Thanks for joining, and great recommendations about partnerships, contracts. Um, yeah, and if anybody's interested in either Karen's projects, she's going to drop her email in the chat below and reach out to her. And if you want to know anything about property management franchises, reach out to me. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
It was great catching up with you, and I look forward to connecting with you again before too long.
Yes, yes. Well, I'll see you at the end of the month for sure.
You bet.
Okay. Thanks for
Okay.
joining. Thanks, Karen. Great to see you as always. And thank you to our listeners for joining. And we'll see you all on the next video, hopefully in the usual format. We'll see. That's right. That's how it goes. Okay. Have a great night,
Take care.
everybody. Bye now.
Bye.